Okay, I'm just going to do a quick little update on the whole cancer thing, the experience, what I've been told. Went to my oncologist yesterday. I've been in to see him now a couple of times, like on a weekly basis. I've got an appointment for next week as well, and mostly what we're doing is just talking. I took my daughter and my granddaughter with me yesterday, so if they wanted to ask questions, they could. Also to be extra ears for me, because I tend to, when I come out of the office, forget half of what was said. Also, I'm trying to make this a little more real for the people around me, to start to desensitize it a little bit, so that when it happens, it won't be quite so hard for them. It's going to be hard. It's hard to lose someone you love, but maybe just a little desensitizing is a good thing. I remember when my husband died. He died suddenly in a car accident, and I found out when the troopers pulled up in my driveway and said he was dead, and it was a long time before I fully accepted his death. I'm saying years. You know, in the beginning, of course, you think, okay, I know he's dead. He's not coming back. But then you sit there, and I remember a year and a half afterwards, I got onto somebody for putting a cigarette out in his ashtray, and that person turned around to me and said, "Trudy, Robert doesn't need his ashtray anymore." And I'm going, wow, you know, what a revelation. So I don't want it to be like that for my own children. I want there's going to be that gap, and it's going to be there for a while, and it's a small way. It's always going to be there. Losing my mother when I was 15 is a little hole in me that has always been there. It's not nearly the big hole it was, and so that's the way it'll be with my kids too. So I took my granddaughter and my daughter with me to the visit, and essentially this is what I'm told. I can do chemo. It's not as rough a chemo, I'm told, as what it was when I had breast cancer. I wouldn't lose my hair, probably. It would only thin. That would seem to be unimportant, but I remember the shame I felt when I was bald. A lot of people consider that, you know, they're brave and they can go out and they don't even look so bad. But me, I looked awful, I felt awful, and I was ashamed. And I was that way for almost 2 years. So it matters to me. So anyway, I would only lose it partially, a little thinning, he said. There'd be some nausea, that comes with chemo, and maybe some fatigue, more susceptibility to illness, because it does kind of kill half your body while it leaves the other half alive. Okay, and here's the deal about it. He said all it's going to do is buy me a few months. When he says a few, I'm thinking 3, 4. Maybe. The chemo itself takes 3, 4. So I'm not sure that it's worth the swap out. I've been debating this back and forth. I almost feel kind of like I'm not brave if I don't fight to the end, but then I also feel like I'm a little stupid if I swap off 3 months of sickness for 3 months at the end when I'm probably going to be mostly sedated anyway. So at this point, and I've gone back and forth many times on this, at this point I think I'm going to put it in God's hands. Most of my life I've been in God's hands, because I've not had insurance for most of my life, and I've had to self-diagnose and self-medicate and self-treat and, you know, whatever. It's been me being my own doctor and just relying on God. And for the most part, through my life, I've been a very healthy person. I'm a very healthy person right now, except for lung cancer. And isn't that odd? My lungs are even clear. It's between the lungs. I just find this also amazing. I don't feel like there's something inside me killing me. Although I am starting to feel some pain, a little bit. They asked me yesterday how much. I said maybe 2 out of 10. It did wake me up the other night. I was in pain, and I had to actually get up and move around and do something to get my mind off of it in order for it to just kind of fade away. I am developing a cough. It's pretty much there every day. Not severe, but it's there. So I see that it's coming. So I'm going to leave it in God's hands, I think, and just do the best I can do. Now, what the doctor says is that maybe it varies with everybody. I might be the person that God just reaches down here and heals. I would love that. But if he doesn't, then, I've got to go with what convention is going to tell me, and that is that I could have anywhere from essentially 6 months to a year and a half. He figures probably 8 months to a year, that area, because of what kind of cancer it is, the stage it's in, how aggressive this kind of cancer is. And almost, to be honest, almost everybody dies of lung cancer if they get lung cancer. And it's usually diagnosed late, like mine is. It's just difficult to nail down. Had mine been in the lung, it would have been nailed down a lot sooner, and I wouldn't have made it to stage 4. But it wasn't there. It was between the lungs, and it was harder to nail down. So, I'm going to leave this in God's hands. And right now I'm trying to desensitize my children a little bit. I'm trying to get my head around it. I ran away for a week to the ocean and just stared at it almost every day, trying to find something. I don't know what. Don't know if I found it or not, but I came back home and now I've accepted that this is happening to me. So I'm trying to do some things. I had a hot tub back in that room back there. I sold it because I needed the money. And now I've got to fix up that room. It's going to be a little sunroom, I hope. And I hope it's finished before I get too bad off, because I'd like to enjoy that little sunroom. Also, I'm starting to think more about how to divvy things up, not just the big things. I know, like the life insurance, we split it between the kids. I've got property here, we split that between the kids. But the smaller things, there's going to be a house full of stuff that I've been accumulating for my lifetime. Because I'm not a hoarder, but I hold on to things. I got china cabinets full of dishes and little whatnots and stuff, and I've got bookcases full of books, and I've got DVDs out. You can't imagine how many DVDs I've got. And jewelry, that's my latest thing. And so I've got tons of jewelry and just a lot of little stuff. So that's where I'm at right now, trying to make my plans, trying to help my kids get through it. Say once again how thankful I am to God for my life. Every single day of it. The bad ones, the good ones, the ones that didn't seem to count. I'm so thankful for every bit of it. And even though I never had that big career or anything, I'm so grateful for every child that he let me help along the way. Because as it turns out in the end, that's what my life was about. I never knew it, but it was about children all the way. So thank you, God. See ya.